To Haiti, to Port-au-Prince, to a hotel where Anderson Cooper is standing by with, we understand, desperation boiling over, Anderson. Looting, violence, what's going on?
Well, Larry, I don't want to paint too negative a picture. This was, as far as we know, an isolated incident in downtown Port-au-Prince, but it is a taste of what could occur here if security is not brought to bear on a large scale in the Port-au-Prince area. There were shots being fired this afternoon by 2 Haitian police officers in the air. We arrived on the scene. A group of young men had broken into a damaged store. They were taking boxes of candles. They were selling those candles, trying to profit off other people's despair. It quickly evolved into a situation where there were hundreds of people on the street. They started bringing weapons to the street. They started battling each other over these goods. There was no one from the UN there, no UN peacekeepers on scene, certainly no U.S. personnel, just 2 Haitian police who were basically being employed by a local businessman to try to protect his own businesses. That businessman had given them automatic weapons. They were using a fire in the air, but the crowd was basically ignoring them. It ended up with a little boy being hit in the head with a chunk of concrete thrown by one of the looters off the roof. It is really a taste, Larry, of how things could be. But so far, all across this city and in other areas, we are seeing Haitians. We're showing respect to one another, helping one another. In those early days, it was the Haitians themselves, before any international relief efforts got here, it was the Haitians themselves who were saving each other. And at this moment, their survival is still largely, unfortunately, in their hands. That's why what these aid groups are doing is so important. It's so important that they have the funds to do the work that they need to do, because the clock is ticking, Larry. There are still people dying, children dying right now who will die tonight because they haven't received proper medical care for something as simple as an infection, an open wound, a broken leg that could spread and very quickly in a short amount of time lead to an infection that would kill them.
Anderson, before we talk quickly to Sanjay, since you've been there, are things better?
Better. You know, man, that's a hard question, Larry. I don't know what better would be. I mean, yes, you don't see as many bodies in the streets, but the bodies are still out there. They're just crushed beneath rubble. You don't see as many people just wandering the street aimlessly, but they still have nowhere to go, and they can't go to their homes, and they're sleeping in the parks. People still come up to you and ask you for water. People still come up to you and say, can I get a message to a loved one in the States? I just went to a town yesterday where aid workers had just gotten there. That was 5 days after this earthquake, and that was the first time they were seeing any international aid. Whatever is coming, it's got to come quickly, because there are an awful lot of people in desperate, desperate need.
Thanks, Anderson. We'll check with you later. The numbers are appearing on your screen. There's lots of ways you can donate. You're donating to UNICEF and the American Red Cross. Dr. Sanjay Gupta is at a hospital in Port-au-Prince. He's CNN's chief medical correspondent, a practicing neurosurgeon, and I understand he performed surgery today on a Haitian girl. What was it about?
Well, what happened, Larry, is that I got a call from one of the carrier ships off the coast of Port-au-Prince. They were saying, and this really acknowledges some of the problems that are going on here, they simply could not find a neurosurgeon, a brain surgeon, to perform this operation. Kimberly, a 12-year-old girl, just a delightful young girl. She was an earthquake victim as well. She had a piece of shrapnel that actually gone through her skull and into her brain, and for several days really was not getting any care whatsoever. She was evacuated and eventually taken to this carrier ship, and that's when I was called and flew onto the carrier ship to help take care of her. And, you know, obviously honored, delighted to do so. But as you mentioned, Larry, I am in a hospital, and, you know, there's a critical need that is ongoing over here. There's no question about it. One thing that's so interesting, Larry, is that with this particular natural disaster, obviously a lot of people died at the time of this earthquake. But what is so important and what really highlights this critical need is that there are a lot of people who were injured but still have very much can be saved. They have problems that can be treated. They have issues that can be addressed either surgically or medically, but they're simply not getting the care yet. 75 operations performed in this particular hospital over the last 3 days, but I can tell you, Larry, it's just a drop in the bucket. It is improving, but a lot of work still needs to be done here.
Are you saying, Sanjay, that you are seeing preventable deaths?
Absolutely. That is the way to put it, Larry. These are preventable deaths. And when I say preventable, I mean, there are very simple, basic ways to prevent this. antibiotics, as Anderson mentioned, but also, I performed this neurosurgical procedure, as we were talking about. I didn't have the right instruments. I had to create instruments, make them myself, because we simply didn't have those. These are simple things to get down here, and it has to be done. These orthopedic injuries, these neurosurgical injuries, these are patients who are critically injured, but they can be saved, and they need to be saved. And you're seeing some of them that are getting that type of care right now, but it needs to happen faster. With medical relief, Larry, you measure things in minutes, in hours. Lots of other relief you can measure in days, months, even years, but with this, it's now, it's immediate.
And that's why your help is needed right now. You, our viewers, your help is needed right now. One other thing, Doctor, you've been in lots of tragic places, Katrina, tsunami. How does this compare? This for some reason strikes me harder, and I think part of it is because there are so many patients who are in desperate need. I think with the tsunami, you had a couple of issues. One is that you had a lot of people who died instantly at the time of the tsunami, but the people who lived, they needed basic supplies like food and water. With the earthquake, you had a lot of people who were displaced, but they were also injured as a result of this. Either they had rubble on top of their limbs for a long time, an arm or a leg. They had head injuries. Now they've been out in the streets for 6 days or so without food and water. So you can imagine all of that coming together. It just makes it worse. It was also so focused, Larry, in this really devastated area of Port-au-Prince. Focused. With the tsunami, it was sort of more spread out across several countries. So you come here, it is an unbelievable sight, and it's gotten better over the last week, but it's, again, a lot of work needs to be done. We'll be checking back with Dr. Gupta in hour number 2 of this 2-hour special, answering our phones in Los Angeles right